Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about government spending, since we have had a lot of cuts in the federal government, which leads to cuts in the state government and then affects you directly. But we're not going to talk about those cuts. We're going to talk about the subject of elderly people versus the young people, and that goes for preschool, elementary, Head Start, college, universities, that kind of stuff. And then and then for the elderly, we're going to talk about Medicare, and taking care of their bodies and that kind of stuff to keep them alive and well in that. I'm young, so I'm gonna be biased, just the way it is. So I think that, or I should say I believe that we should train young adults to become smarter and better at the things that they want to express. I support working on a job apprenticeship. I think that's the best way to train people, but it isn't a good technique to get a base knowledge source. So now we're just gonna throw that out of the way, because that doesn't apply to what we need. What I believe that we need a good preschool education and down, making sure that people are learning the stuff they need to have. Okay, we have that. I believe in a good K through 12 curriculum for students to be able to get a base knowledge, and then if they don't want to go into college or onto a university, that they can have that base knowledge and they can apply that to what they need. When you go into the early schooling, like in elementary school, I think that teachers who teach those should be well-rounded and should be able to express and to help kids to develop their minds ready for the last 6 years of basic education, and that being middle school and high school. They are simply there to teach you the techniques that are going to be expressed and are going to be built upon. When we move into middle school, that is a good time, and I believe the best time to teach social goals. I mean, social interactions between humans. That's the best time. Those 2 or 3 years, depending on what your school has, if it's 6th through 8th or 7th and 8th, that's a good time, because you're going to be learning not quite as much as you would in the high school level or above, but you're going to be able to focus and have more interaction with students around you. And then when we move to high school education should have this base, which they have, but we should also make sure that we have the funding so that people can get the specialized education that they need to be able to pursue the things that they need. For example, if they're going up to college, the school should teach them what they need to know so that they can get into a good college, get a good SAT or ACT score, and then move on to college. If they are going to be going into a vocational school or other types of stuff, like right out, like maybe not even going to school, maybe going to the military, they should have that good base knowledge anyway, but they should also have an applied field in the study that they want to go into, building houses, survival training, that kind of stuff. That they should know, like the biology or the mathematics around it, because of course you're not going to be at school learning about methods on how to create holes the best way and that kind of stuff, and how to shoot a gun at school. It would be pretty awesome. But so now moving on to college and universities. I believe that we are overpricing education, and I don't know why. Because we should make sure that we're funding those schools so they can have that, so students that want to express and get smarter should be able to express that. Now, if they're getting F's in college, then cut spending. Don't make them spend their way, since they're going to decide that they are going to fail school. And I'm talking about a F in grade point average, not an F in one class, because one class you screwed up, you're, oh well. So people should be able to take what they need to have. A lot of countries around the world do that, and I don't understand why the U.S. doesn't do that, because that is how you're going to get these good doctors, these good scientists. You just need to make sure that you can give people a chance at doing it. And if they are going to fail classes in college, then they can pay for it themselves, because they're going to give it what it needs. Now I'm going to talk about elderly, the other side of government spending. I understand that you may have a bad time trying to save money for later years, but you shouldn't be relying on the government to pay for your stuff, because the government didn't really pay for your stuff like in your middle life, did they? In your early years, it was your parents and like insurance companies. So the government shouldn't have to pay for that. They should put those dollars into the young people so that they can have cheaper services for everybody. Better machines, make new cures, like cures for cancer, so you can actually live another 10 years after you get cancer, or until you pass away from old age. So instead of putting all these dollars into trying to keep people that are already done with their working career, I know this sounds extremely harsh and brutal, but I understand it. I understand that you don't want to spend all your money on that, but at the same time, I don't think that you should be taking money out of the schools and not letting everybody be successful. Go ahead and give me your ideas in the comments, and that's just my view on where we should put our money in between Medicare and education. So dare to explore.